Howdy, Season 2, Episode 2 of Breaking Bread with the Bartons.
Making room at the table. Hospitality isn't about having the perfect home, it's about creating a place where people belong. I'm Brittany.
Cameron?
We are ready to dive into a conversation
Yep.
about hospitality, which is our family's mission, I feel like, one of the values of our family, something that you and I think has been a part of our lives forever, even through our childhood, and something that we are trying to instill in our own kids about opening up homes and being hospitable and making people feel seen and welcomed and loved and just being Jesus to everybody that we come in contact with. And so when we think about our family and like what our life verses, our family verses, we always go back to Acts 2:42 and 47, where it talks about this community of faith, these believers gathered together daily. They prayed together daily. They ate together and broke bread in their homes daily. They listened to the teachings of the disciples daily. They did this all of life together. They sold their possessions to give to people in need. And this whole verse is specifically, they broke bread in their homes and ate with glad and sincere hearts. That's something that I remember going to. I think it was in Round Top when I bought that big sign that, we got for our house and have had in our home to just reiterate what our life verse is, what our family verse is. And that's where the name Breaking Bread with the Bartons came from as well, is that verse of they broke bread in their homes and ate with glad and sincere hearts. And so we kind of want to talk today about hospitality, what it looks like in our family, what we feel like it means, why we feel like this is something so important to us and a value that has been a part of our life, and what that's going to look like.
I was going to speak into that. Like Acts 2, it has a lot to do with, these believers, the first church, basically. So they were full of the Holy Spirit. They, fire, basically on fire for God, and just kind of what naturally happened was that uh, it wasn't like this thing of, they probably didn't even call it hospitality. They just naturally was like, first thing we need to do is help my buddy over there, help my neighbor. Do you need clothes? Do you need, it's just this natural thing that happened when they were on fire for God. So I feel like, we're going to talk about hospitality, but I think what we learn is that if we're on fire for God, this is what naturally happens.
Yeah, it's like a lifestyle.
Yeah, and I think, God definitely breathed into our lives that. I think growing up, you were the same way, but we just kind of, thank God we naturally had that kind of spirit growing up of whether we knew it was God or not. It was like we just wanted to be around people.
Yeah, and I think, like, I know you and I have talked about this of like what our childhood homes were like, when you're planning your own family and your own life. And I feel like we look at our parents and our raising and our growing up, and we're so thankful that we're carrying a lot of the things that we've learned in our homes, our childhood homes. We're carrying those to our family now. One of those is being the house that everybody gathered at, being the house that all the kids came to. I remember, for friends and family, like our house being the host house more than I would go to other people's homes, or more than we would go to other people's homes as a family. Like, we would do stuff as families and go to other people's houses, but like more often than not, our house, my house, my mom and dad's house was the house that everybody came to. And I was thinking about like why that was, what made it so special. And I think I have great memories of like my mom making things just feel really special, like little celebrations or little holidays or whatever. Like, she would just make them feel extra special. She would buy the napkins that had, annual pumpkin carving contests on them. Like, these little things that don't really matter at the end of the day, and that's not what hosting is about. That's not what hospitality is about either. But like, she just made it really special, and everybody wanted to be there because they felt special there, and like, it was welcoming and it was fun. And
when the host, it's that joy from the host to the, those the others see it, whether it's through some napkins or, whatever.
And I think like from my parents' perspective, I was talking to my mom about this and my brother too. Like from my family's perspective, I think the reason they wanted our house to be that way is one, how they grew up. Their homes weren't really that way. Their homes weren't the homes that they wanted people to come to necessarily. They weren't the homes that were always open for people to come to. For one, but then also like, to be honest, if my parents wanted to know what was going on and wanted to make sure we were safe, it was going to happen at their house. Like
Yeah.
that was the only way they were going to know, is if it was under the whatever was going on was happening under their roof, and
Yeah.
they could see it and could have control over that.
And the other parents knew, oh, they're down there.
Yeah,
You
I
know.
think people definitely trusted the Rakestraw family. You know,
And that used to be the way it was. You know, I mean, almost everywhere I think you hear from the older generation, like, oh, you just show up at somebody's house.
yeah,
And you know, like the kids, they rode the bikes down the road, and that's just, you know, it was totally different than what we see now.
Yeah.
Of
Well-
being kind of off, standoffish or whatever. You know.
yeah, and you just have to think about a lot of other things. I don't know. I feel like people drive faster these days, which that might not even be a real thing. But like, we lived in a neighborhood. That's something I wanted to talk about. Is like our physical geography of our homes, it was very different. And so your house was still the gathering place, being so different than mine. I lived in a neighborhood. We one street in, one street out. We had several kids like our age grow up in the neighborhood, so we would get on the bikes, we'd ride around, we'd meet up at the house or go to the lake, you know, whatever. And I mean, that happened when we were younger. When we were older, obviously driving around and stuff too, and people still just came to our house. But like, you know, we were in a neighborhood, so we were able to do that. Versus you lived here on the highway, like people didn't just ride a bike up to your house, but your house was still the gathering place. So like for you, what do you feel like? Why was your house the gathering place? Why do you think that it ended up being that way?
I mean, I think it started with, you know, mom and dad. They were very welcoming and just, but you know, a lot of it was like sports. I mean, after practice or something, you know, half of us probably were related with cousins and stuff.
Yeah,
but
that's fun too.
I don't really know exactly why, but I mean, just it was just a naturally welcoming environment, I think, and kids wanted to be in that, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't know what other houses were like. I'm not for me to judge, but maybe they didn't have that. I don't know. But,
yeah.
So
I was thinking about like, was it the food? And I was like, no offense, Mom, if you watch this, but
thinking about it, like, you know, we live on a farm, so, you know, if you had a 4-wheeler or something, that was definitely something they could.
Oh yeah, they could easily come out, and that's something y'all did.
A lot of weekends we spent riding 4-wheelers and had a little game room. We played video games, and so, you know,
it was just fun here. Y'all had the fun stuff.
Yeah, again, parents
to do
knew like, okay, the worst they're gonna do is get stuck in a 4-wheeler, and you know, otherwise you're just playing video games all night, or you know, they'd rather do that versus go get in trouble somewhere, you know.
That's fun.
So.
I think about, I was going to say that if my mother was listening, no offense to this, but I mean, Sherry Rakestraw wasn't like a cook, you know. It wasn't like people came over because they loved Sherry's food. Although my brother did say she did have good snacks. Like in the summer, we had good snacks. So I don't know, maybe people came over for the snacks too. But your mom always talks about how, I forget who it is. Well, but somebody that y'all grew up with, I cannot remember who it is, but like every time they see your mom, they're like, remember when you would make us, what was it, lemonade and brownies, I think.
Yeah.
And like that is what they remember. So that's funny too that.
And if anybody spent the night, they were like, we had, you know, Mom make pancakes or.
Oh, like the next morning?
Yeah, or Eggos. I mean. You know. So, I mean, we just, you know, looking back, we had a couple of them that pretty much lived with us. I mean, you know, so we just had
I think we did too. We had somebody live with us for an extended period of
time.
Off
and on. I mean.
Yeah, I think both of our parents, I mean, I know I've said this about my mom, like, she's very generous. She's a generous person in a lot of different ways, and I feel like I learned that from her. And in one of those ways is how she's opened up her home and how she's, you know, welcomed people in and was the hostess. And one thing that I do get from my mom in this regard that leans more into like entertaining and hosting, as you all can see my obsession with dishes, as Cameron knows, my obsession with dishes. Like
and pillows.
Okay. I do love I love to cook and I love dishes, and so I like to eat on that. So I feel like sometimes I get like nervous because I'm like, I don't want people to come over here and think I'm trying to be whatever by serving them on these dishes,
Yeah.
because
You're
that's not
just
what it is. That's just
yeah.
like my hobby and my joy, you
Yeah.
know. And I love it. It's fun. Now we're gonna drink out of solo cups because
Yeah.
I don't have good cups, you
Yeah.
know, and we're gonna drink water because I don't make tea and we don't ever have anything else here. So like we're getting it out of the tap
Yeah.
I mean,
The
so
water.
there's stuff that it's like, okay, Brittany, where you're all over the place here, but I just love it. And so there's
Yeah.
things, and I think those are some of the things I get from my mom too. Like she just really knows how to make things a little extra special and a little
Yeah.
fun. So, and then I think your family too. I think common theme is that it's just safe. It was safe and it was fun and it was like chill,
Yeah.
And I think that's what. And so when I think about our kids now and like how we're raising them and what I want them to feel at home, I want them to have those same adjectives to describe their home when they leave here,
Yeah.
and I hope that they want to carry these things. And I want their friends to feel that way too. Like I want them to come here and I want them to want to come here. I want the kids to want to bring friends here,
Yeah.
that it's just like that kind of home and that it feels safe and it's fun and Miss Brittany might be a little crazy, but she can make it a little bit extra special, and I won't go totally crazy if they break a plate, maybe just a little bit. But I don't know. I just think that that's fun. So what do you feel like? I mean, how do you? You said this earlier about your house was fun because y'all could come and ride four wheelers and stuff, and I hadn't thought about that. I've kind of thought lately like not that I'm upset about living here, but like, oh, my kids aren't just riding their bikes to go to a friend's house like I did. But to your point, they do have stuff out here, which I know this because they run around muck out here and go to the
Yeah.
river and whatever. But and so when they get older, it's just going to be that much more fun. So like that'll be fun for them, especially with boys, them growing up and having their guys come out here and
Yeah.
they have all this land to come and ride around on and play on and
Fish
stuff.
and
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
That's a fun thing for us to be able to do. And like paintball parties.
Yeah. Oh, we
Did
used
y'all
to
do
ask
that?
them. Oh yeah. Yeah, that was a big deal.
Oh, now that sounds like
On the
fun. I could
weekends,
get
that
on
was
with the paintball party.
that was a big. Yeah, I forgot about that.
We
Right,
had,
right back here, right behind the house.
yeah, we could set up like a course and stuff and
Yeah.
have a paintball board.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
Okay, that could kind of be their thing that they come and do. Okay, so I just kind of just leaned into this of like, I don't live in a neighborhood, so my kids aren't riding a bike. So one of the things that you and I just recently talked about was this kind of struggle of we live in a home that we love. We're grateful for, obviously. This is our home, and it's a very special place. But it's 30 minutes away from town, essentially. 30 minutes away from our church community, 30 minutes away from our sports community, 30 minutes away from our school community. We live in another community, though, that you work in. You work in this community, your family is part of this community. And so, but like, people aren't just driving by our house and popping in, even
Yeah.
though we would allow it. Like,
Yeah.
we welcome that. I do love it when Terry Wayne shows up
Yeah.
sometimes.
That's what I was thinking about earlier.
Yeah, and so it's like, and your mom, people can just show up, and we would never turn people away.
Yeah.
But it's not like that happens all the time. Versus like when we've been watching The Chosen, I don't remember what episode it was the other day, but they're like, yeah, come in, bring whoever, and there was one moment where I think she was kind of worried about the food, but it was like, it's fine. Like, they're not here for the food. They're here for Jesus anyway,
Yeah.
And so, and that's true. Like, they're not here for a perfect house. They're not here for dishes. They're not here for whatever.
Yeah.
But that was like one of the things that we had like this tension about. So, trying to think of other ways to be hospitable.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
Well, I was actually thinking while you were talking about that was that, we don't live, like you were saying, we don't live in a neighborhood. We don't live where one might think it's easy to, just like, for instance, if we're in a neighborhood, next house over, it's easy to go. But I will say, and this is something I believe that's not happening today, maybe. I mean, it's not everybody, but I think it's, when you think about go and make disciples, even if you live in a neighborhood, you still have to go to your neighbor and talk, like that neighbor may not just come to your house. You still have to go,
Yeah.
So whether we're here or in a neighborhood, it's kind of still the same. Yeah, it may be a time difference, but there's still the, you know, a it still takes some courage and some um, maybe some uncomfortable steps to go talk to that neighbor or go, hey neighbor, you want to come over sometime and eat? And
Yeah.
and that's why I think sometimes it's just as hard. I think it's just as hard whether you live in a neighborhood or not to
Well, yeah.
be neighborly. I mean, it's
Yeah.
if you think about it that way, it's
Yeah. Well, yeah, because there's other things too. There's that fear, maybe.
yeah.
There's like time, exhaustion. I mean, I know that there's times where I just want to like be home.
Yeah.
Like I recharge at home. We recharge at home, and sometimes it's better to do that alone versus saying like, yeah, come on in, come on over, But at the same time, I do love it when people come over and recharge with us
Oh,
here
yeah,
too,
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm with you. It does take it. While it might seem to me that it would be easier if we lived in a neighborhood or lived closer or were, in a different community, in our community differently, whatever that looks
Yeah.
like. I'm like not trying to make that sound like it's a bad thing or whatever, but you're right. There's still like the effort to it,
Yeah.
kind of essentially, or making people know that they're invited
Yeah.
and getting outside your comfort zone and whatever. Um, that's good. Well, let's talk about like times we have opened our house to people and like what has been a benefit of that. Like, what's
Well,
your favorite hospitality story? I guess of our family, like of a time that we opened our
um,
house.
well, thinking about like real uncomfortable things, and it's not like uncomfortable because they were bad people. They were great people. It's just like welcoming a foreign exchange student because the uncomfortable number one is you don't know them.
Yeah.
You know them from what they've put on a computer and he lets you read about them, but you've never met this person in your life.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I mean by it's just as hard whether you live in a neighborhood or in a out in the country somewhere by yourself. It's still takes some uncomfortable steps and courage to welcome people. But through welcoming or doing those foreign exchange students, like welcoming in, we've experienced basically we have family in Germany and Brazil now.
Mm-hmm.
We could call them and tell them, hey, we're coming to Germany to come see you, and then come on, and
Yeah.
and but that's just the natural things that happen when we do open our doors and our homes to people.
And I think from the exchange program too, one of my favorite things from it is the relationships that have lasted after that. Like those students brought students here, brought friends here and kids here that we still have a relationship with now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's really fun and special.
We'd have never talked to those people probably.
Yeah, because our kids aren't that age.
Yeah.
Like they,
And now that we have those relationships, like I would say there's some people that we get to share the gospel with, or we learn from each other, and so by one simple obedient step of hospitality.
Yeah.
That really we didn't really know what we're doing. We're just saying you can live here.
Yeah. Yeah. I do love that, and the kids have enjoyed that, and they see that. I remember when Yannick was leaving recently. I think maybe the next day, or maybe Yannick hadn't even left yet, but Bo was like, are we getting another exchange student? Like, he's just there. That's part of their life. They're used to that or whatever. I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
You know what I just thought about, which we did not talk about this when we were talking earlier, but do you remember that we were Airbnb hosts in our first house? And we had 3 guests?
I forgot about that. Yeah.
I recently found, because it's in my room as I've been organizing stuff.
A note or letter?
Remember how we had the book in the room and they would sign it, like the guest book or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I read those 3 things.
Wow.
Isn't that so cool?
Yeah.
And
we should do that again here. Like something.
Yeah, but we don't have the space here. Then we didn't have kids, and it was.
Yeah.
Look at me, I'm coming up with excuses, not being
hospitable. There you go. I mean,
but
I will say, like, if somebody's struggling with hospitality, or you know, because we struggle with it. I mean, it's not like we know everything about hospitality. But you know, Brittany worries about this more than I do. But you don't have to have, you know, there's stuff in our house, like there's things we got to fix in this house, like, you know,
Like
to
I'm sitting on a
to
hole,
live in
I think.
another 5 years, it needs to be fixed. Uh, and that's what I'm saying is, don't worry about that. Like, people are going to remember the fact that you just opened your home, and they're not going to remember the paint on the wall or
Yeah.
what dishes you. I mean,
Well, and I think it's
it,
more important to think about how am I making them
or
feel
or
versus.
even how much space you had. I mean, you know, the best times we've had is when this house has been full.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm talking about you couldn't hardly walk through the
There's
kitchen.
so many people. Yeah.
So, you know, don't think that you got to have a 5,000 square foot, you know, house or whatever to be hospitable. You know,
Our Airbnb was super tiny.
Yeah.
And they shared space with us.
But I really think that's a struggle for people today. Is they think they have to, even growing families. I'm not saying, you know, like we think we have to have all this stuff to be obedient to God and to do the and God doesn't say that.
Yeah.
It's just be hospitable, you know, and that's it. Like,
yeah.
So.
Okay, well, what about a time where our hospitality was met with challenges? Or like I'm thinking about, we invited the Owen family over for dinner, and then Trey had to cook dinner.
Oh yeah. Well, that was my fault. I get into talking, and next, you know,
well, and I think I had like way too much going on, and I'm pretty sure I burnt something that night too. That was kind of like chaotic.
I was doing something else, and Trey was like, "When we gonna eat?" So he just got after.
Yeah, he kept making the fajitas, and we were just like struggling with that.
But that's it too. You know, I mean, to me, that's part of it too. Is like, man, get after it. Like, if you want to, you know, to a certain extent. But.
I know, but that was just funny because it's like we invited y'all over for dinner, and then you're cooking your own dinner. Yeah. And I feel like at one point I made something that didn't taste good, and we ended up doing something else. But I can't remember when that was. But I feel like that has happened, or maybe that's just a really bad dream that I have. I don't know. Reoccurring dream, reoccurring fear. I don't know, but you know, for us, it isn't that we want people to remember our house or necessarily, you know, or like we want people to remember how they felt here and want them to come back because of how they felt here, that they felt seen, they felt welcome, they felt loved, and like that it was fun and it was relaxed and it was just like, this is just a fun place to be, that these walls are just so full of the Holy Spirit, they're so full of love. Like, that's what I want people to feel when they come here.
Anybody that comes in here is not much different than us. They've you know, life's hard. They've faced the world, whatever that looks like to them, and they want to go somewhere at the end of the day that they can let all that go. And if that's here, then that's here.
Yeah.
You know? So.
Yeah, I'd love that. All right, we want to move into our rapid fire questions?
Yeah.
Okay, what is happening around the Barton house this week?
Got a little bit of soccer camp going for the kids.
Yep, they do.
Well, so one thing we've started is every week we're trying to incorporate this hospitality biblically in like Acts 2, and we're going to grow it as we keep going. But at least once a week we're going to have. We want somebody to come. We want to eat dinner with. Like
just being intentional about making time for dinner with somebody.
Have them over, have dinner. If we get to share the gospel, good. You know. And so, well, I should say they're going to hear the gospel if they come here, but
yeah.
But they'll feel it. You know, they should feel it. But so we're still trying to. We're actually still. We don't have anybody this week yet, so
people are out of town and stuff.
But
kids have VBS in the evenings.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So they've been doing that. When this episode comes out, though, it'll be August-ish, so we'll be getting closer to school starting. I'm working on my classroom this week, this actual week. So hopefully by the time this podcast comes out, my classroom will actually be ready to
Yep.
go. Surely it will be ready to go. Okay. What has God been teaching you lately, Cameron?
Oh, I just looked at a verse, 1 Peter 4:9. Show hospitality to one another without grumbling. That maybe teach me that.
Have you been grumbling?
Don't grumble, Oh man, I just had it and I lost it. But
Well, I'll go.
yeah.
I've been doing the Luke and the Land study still. I mentioned this on the last podcast. By the time this episode comes out, I'll be finished with that study. But the last couple of weeks, there's been like a lesson on Sabbath and like rest, and that's one thing that I need. Even though I'm not working my full time job, and I'm making my own schedule. I can do essentially whatever I want. I've been keeping myself really busy, and I got really tired last week. And so Sunday, I took an actual rest day. Like I napped even, and I didn't do any housework until like late that evening. I felt like Saturday night we took it easy. Sunday went to church, worshiped, ate, came home, relaxed. And so I did feel very refreshed that way. But one of the things with the Sabbath rest or the Sabbath, okay, that day, isn't just about resting my body, my mind, and all of that, but also like celebrating what God has done. And so I think, and like the restoration, like, he took Sabbath rest and looked at his creation and all that it was, on his seventh day, on his rest day, his Sabbath day. And so I think, looking at what God had done and just being really intentional about that, praising him, worshiping him. That's easy to do on Sunday when we're already going to church, but like just being intentional about it throughout the whole day of celebrating the moments from that week or just whenever, just like really recognizing God's hand in all that he's doing. And so I thought that was that's something that in my rest that I need, actual physical rest, you know, mental rest, because I'm keeping myself so busy, but also not just resting, but celebrating too what
Yeah.
God has done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you think about yours?
Yeah, I remembered basically just like because I feel like it's easy to just wake up and work out, work, come home and do all your responsible things. But I think he's teaching me that, well, he's convicting me like you can do all that day in day out and be busy as heck, but if you don't share the gospel or make disciples or share your testimony, what I do,
Yeah.
Uh, basically, I live for the world, and that's it,
Yeah.
So
That's good.
yeah.
Okay, what's your current favorite? What's something that you're currently obsessed with?
Oh, I've slowed. I mean, I'm working out differently because I hurt my back. So I, I'm in the mornings. I like to put my bare feet in the grass and just what they call it grounding or whatever.
Yeah,
But
that's good.
yeah, I just like to you know, feel the grass underneath me and the nature, and just kind of obsessed with that right now.
That's good.
Yeah.
I've been cooking a lot lately and like trying new recipes and different things. And one of my favorite things to do right now is to go to my garden and get something out of it and then come inside and immediately use it and like
Yeah.
think like, oh, I added that,
I
fresh.
appreciate that because it's good.
And I don't have very many things in my garden, so it's not like I'm getting like a ton of stuff that I need to be using all the time. It's just like when I'm like, oh, I can add okra to this, and I go outside and I grab some okra and get to
Yeah.
add it in there right then, and it's really good. So I'm kind of obsessed with doing that and
Yeah.
enjoying that. All right, what's your funny kid moment of the week? Do you have one?
It's Kyle. I mean, he did something this week, but I can't remember what. But he's been quoting movies, like
His
it
little
was just
Monsters
earlier. He
Inc.
was
thing.
just earlier in the car doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Monsters Inc. What does he say?
Shake me like a dog.
Shake me like a dog. Yeah, he said. And so yeah, Kyle's hilarious.
He is funny. Yesterday, Bo, we were sitting in the car, me, Bo, and my niece and my mother-in-law, and waiting for Kyle to get out of soccer camp. And we, I don't know, we were talking about like, I guess Blake knew license plate numbers, like her family's license plate numbers or something. And I said, "Do you know your mom and dad's phone numbers?" And she was like, "Yeah." And she spouted them off. And I didn't ask Bo because I know Bo doesn't know our phone numbers because bad parenting. I need to teach him our phone numbers. But without being prompted, he was like, "I know Angelo's mom's number, who is one of his friends from school's mom." And I'm like, "What?" He said it. I mean, all 10 digits. And I was like, "I got to check that." So I went to my phone. I checked. Sure enough, it was the right phone number. I was dying laughing. So I sent Monica a message and said, "Funniest story." I told her that part, and I said, "So until Bo learns my phone number, I am going to tell him in case of an emergency. If he gets lost or something, just give him your phone number so you are a new emergency contact." I'm like,
Kids.
I mean, I'm so proud of Angelo for knowing his mom that he even taught his kids or his
Yeah.
friends his.
Yeah,
It was so funny. I was cracking up. So
Yeah.
that's funny.
Tell your kids are listening. you
Yeah,
know.
I know we need to teach our kids our phone numbers.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay, well, to wrap this up, I guess we'll ask kind of our question to the listeners, which
And then
is
I've got a verse I want to share before we get done.
okay. We'll do that, and then we'll end on
Oh.
this.
Hebrews 13:2 says, "Do not neglect to show hospitality to strangers, for some have entertained angels without knowing it."
Oh yeah,
So, it can be uncomfortable to show hospitality to people we don't know. But think about it, like, everybody we didn't know at some point.
Yeah.
I didn't know you at some. I had to show hospitality in some way to you.
Yeah.
To get to know you. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that's basically saying, like, I can welcome angels in my life if I am willing to show hospitality.
Yeah.
So
That's
pretty
good.
cool. Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna end it with this. Who is one person that you could make room for this week?
Oh, I answer that.
No, that was the
Oh, yeah,
question for
yeah.
our listeners.
Gotcha.
That's what we're
That's
ending
for
on.
you.
Gracious, we were struck by a thought.
What was it again? In case they didn't get it.
Who is one person you can make room for at the table this week?
Got it.
Thanks for joining us for Season 2, Episode 2 of Breaking Bread with Spartans.
Love you.
I gotta think about that one.
I know mine.
How I set it up earlier. Then we should be good to go. We're plugged in. Camera's on. You feel okay about the view and all the things?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Cameron!